This is where we are today. And there are, I think, 72 quilts in the show. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Let's go to the front. No peeking. Why did I start in the back, you say? Because, I don't know. Because there was a large table there. This show is so well attended. There are a lot of people in here today. Okay, here we are in the front. And they have a bed turning coming up. I had never even heard of a bed turning. And because this is a smaller show, hopefully we can take some time and really hang out with these quilts. So this is a pretty one. It's called Wild Flowers. And let's get in on this. If you're popping in, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and say hello. So this one is done by Marilyn Romine. Look at the beautiful border quilting here. Isn't it gorgeous? Lovely applique with a blanket stitch. Super beautiful background. Just a sweet quilt, just sweet. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. If you're popping on in, go on ahead and tell me you're here and say hello and hit that thumbs up so we can push these videos. This one here is by Megan Cullen. Hey, Renee. Well, Renee, if you love when I go to shows, I am at a show right now and you caught me live. You can hang out with me a little bit. This one's called Peace Angels. Ooh. I see so many different variations of this quilt, but I'm really liking the fabrics that she chose for the body and then the background. This looks like so much fun to do scrappy. Look at all the different color angels, all the different heads with the little eyes on them. Love the border fabric. This quilt just works really, really well. This one's by Megan Cullen. Matter of fact, I think Megan is the person who sent me an email and invited me out to the show. If you guys ever want me to come to one of your shows, let me know. And if you let me know in enough time, I might be able to pop in. She had no idea I was coming. But she sent me an email and said, hey, if you get a chance, come on out. And then poof, I'm here. This, if you like this one, this should be a kit. A foundation paper piecing kit, Tula Pink. And this is by Beth Anthony. This is quite an undertaking. As someone who just did some paper piecing, I tell you, it can get to be intense. My favorite true color fabric is this purple one here. I love that in gray. So pretty. Check out this quilting. Can you guys see it in the borders? It's got like a butterfly kind of vibe to it. And then we have some straight line quilting going around these, hey Catherine, a square. It's lovely. Okay, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, perfect. Good. All right. Now this, you guys know how much I love an ombre. This is a simple to complete quilt with a maximum impact. Look at how beautiful. It's scrappy, but looks like it was placed with care. This is the postcard from Sweden using 5-inch charm squares, machine pieced and quilted. And some of these are for sale, and this is one of them. If you guys want to reach out to this guild, yes, Catherine, I'm in California. I'm in Lompoc, California. This one's called Memories of Dad by Anna Lanthaler, maybe. After seeing, what was that woman's name who was at the quilt show? She used a doily. Now I'm starting to notice when people use crocheted work in their quilts. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. I tried. I tried. Paper piecing. Paper piecing is time consuming, and I think sometimes I forget how time consuming things can be. Look at this beautiful applique flower. That flower almost looks velvet in person. Those shapes. And then let's see, where are we gonna go next? Because it's so well attended, I don't know where to go. I don't wanna, let's just turn around and go right here. This one is machine pieced by Amy Wilson and quilted by Beth Anthony. And this is called Boston 1929. And we've got pictures printed on fabric. Matter of fact, one of the vendors here is who I use to do my prints on fabric. They carry the specific brand that doesn't need to be set or anything like that. You don't have to use the center pawl. Like it just works. It's like the most non-fussy inkjet printer friendly fabric paper that I could find. I love it. I did a wash test on it. It just is lovely. It's just the best fabric to print on. I have a video on it, so if you guys want to see that, check it out. Ooh, the Hungry Caterpillar. This looks like fun. They used ombre. This was by Marilyn Romine. Look, they use variegated threads to quilt. You know your girl loves a variegated. Catherine, yeah, when I get to that corner, or Catherine, if you, there's a video on here. If you just look where I think I put labels. It's how I do my labels too. Somebody was just asking me, somebody was just on there talking to me the other day. But yeah, I'll show the vendor. But there's a video about my print labels, and and I think I have them linked there. This caterpillar is a cutie patootie. I want to make a caterpillar like that. Lovely free motion quilting to tell the story. And I like where these blocks are placed. Isn't it cute? Do whatever you just enjoy yourself. Enjoy the show.
Are you doing a live?
I am for all the people who can't be here. Yes, it's on my channel. Thank you. This one is by Kathy Gregory, and it's called Poppies. Now, tons and tons of texture plus grunge fabric equals my happy place. But what I'm really loving about this quilt is the background texture that they achieved. Check this out. It's woven, I believe, and it's left raw, and it looks like it's faced, so there's not like an actual binding. They just turned it, and it just looks delicious in person. A beautiful art quilt. I like texture. And I was talking with someone about texture recently, and I think next year for the QuiltCon, I think we're going to start to see some more of that, more art quilts in that way. Here's one I like, but of course I would. It's got a gnome in it, and I got a thing for gnomes. This one's by Beth Anthony. It's called Woodland Wonderland. And look at all of this. Now, I think there's a bed turning happening right now, and I've never seen a bed turning. So I think we should go try to check it out just for a second. This quilting is exceptional. The blocks are pieced to perfection. So cute. This quilt makes me happy. It feels very fall for me. Like I want to crawl under this around October. I want to have this one out probably around October, November-ish. Okay, let's go see what a bed turning looks like. very curious. We might not stay through the whole bed turning. I don't even know if you'll be able to hear her, but I am curious to see her turn the beds.
Now this next one is a top, and it had been together, but it spent, the family thinks, about 6 years in a suitcase in the attic, and it belongs to Tina in our guild. It was when she and her husband went to help clean out her father-in-law's house. They were tossing things down from the attic, and this was in an old suitcase that fell open, and here's this dusty, junky piece of thing, and they were going to throw it away. And she says, no, wait, it's mine. The batting had completely disintegrated. It was a Tide quilt, and there were little bits of the red wool on it, but, you know, it was just, what are you going to do with it? So she's washed it carefully a few times over the last year, and is going to put it back together and have it quilted. And you can see it was probably made for twin quilted. It's missing off each of the ends here. And none of the boys remembered ever seeing the quilt. They had no idea who it was, but one of her father-in-law's brothers was still alive, so she called and talked to him. And he is pretty sure that it was made by their maternal great-grandmother, so this would have been my husband's great-great-grandmother. And I had her name here. Her name was Corinne Owens. She lived in Seymour, Texas, and apparently she was a great quilter, sewer. She made jewelry and other little crafts. And he said, I was the youngest kid, so I never had to do this, but I remember my older brother Ken and another brother would come home from school when they were 7 or 8 years old, and Grandma would hand them a shoebox full of little trinkets and things that she'd made, and they'd go around the neighborhood and sell them. So that was a way that she earned extra money, and probably not too long after the Depression era. So that's this one. We're just going to take it.
It looks like very thin cotton.
It is very thin, probably like feed sack kind of stuff. Because from the nearest thing that we can sort of figure out from the age of her father-in-law, and it would have been his grandmother, it was probably made in the 20s, early 30s. Because the fabric is extremely thin. She's going to reinforce it before she has it quilted. Just fold it in one more. It's light, it won't. Okay, this quilt belongs to Kathy Gregory. And if you feel free to come stand around and look if you like. This is, again, probably made in the 30s. It's hand-pieced, hand-quilted. Her grandmother was Gladys Tillman, and apparently she was, besides doing quilting, she did crochet, knitting, sewing. She made all of her own clothes. She was a farm gal that did everything around the farm as well. And when Kathy graduated from nursing school in 1970, her Aunt Mabel gave her what they called Grandma's Star Quilt. So she looked up the pattern in an encyclopedia of quilting patterns, and it was called Arkansas Star. And that's actually where her grandmother lived. So that sort of made sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fairly thin quilt, kind of like what they.
There's no batting, is there?
Well, it probably is a summer weight quilt, so there's probably muslin inside there.
It's in great condition.
It's in very good condition. Yeah, the family kept it on a bed, but in a room that it was like in the guest room, so it wasn't really used much, and it doesn't have fold creases or anything, so it is in really good condition. This quilt is grandmother's flower garden. This was made by my great-grandmother, Maybelle Chapman Rankin. She lived in LA in the late 20s and early 30s and was, she called herself like a night nurse. Back in those days, women of a certain class, when they had a child, they went to bed for 3 weeks afterwards, and she was the night nurse who brought the baby in for nursing, changed the diapers, took care of mom during the night, but there was a lot of times when both were sleeping. So this is what she did, partly to keep herself awake. And so it's English paper piecing, hand pieced and hand quilted. You can tell from the fabrics that they're the 30s, early 30s fabrics. And if you notice over there, the dark green, there's a second quilt that is the same size as this that has all of the light green, but at one point she ran out of it, and we used what you had, so that this one has around 3 corners, little pieces of the darker green. Now this one is another grandmother's flower garden. This one belongs to Annie Bixler. It was made by her grandmother, but in 1980. The pattern is the same, but you can see how much brighter the fabrics are. And somewhere on that side, I think there's a not just the label, but there's a pink and white daisy fabric, and she remembers wearing matching dresses with her mother, made from that particular fabric. And all of this one was made for her Aunt Mabel, who was the youngest daughter, and she also made 2 others, one for each of her daughters. And everybody would say, oh, I had that dress, I had this dress, I had that skirt or blouse, because she used, like people did, she used the scraps that were left over from their sewing. This is English paper piecing, hand pieced, hand quilted. This quilt the blocks were made by a lady named Mary Beckett, who spent 3 months in hospital in 1937. And this is one of the things that she did to keep herself occupied. It's not quite apparent, but when you get close and look, you can see that the embroidery floss is variegated pink. And we know the lady's name because there was a Post-it note attached to a box that had these in it. And my friend Annette's cousin, I think she got them at a thrift store, but I'm not exactly sure. And she didn't really remember. But she had the blocks, and she said, do you want these? Because if you don't, I'm going to throw them out, because, what am I going to do with them? So Annette took those, and also the quilt underneath, the quilt top underneath. And she said, I had them for a few years, and I kept thinking, if I had gone to all the trouble to make those blocks, I really would have wanted that quilt to be finished. And we don't know, because we don't know who she was. Maybe she never came home from the hospital. We don't know. So Annette found a floral variegated pink fabric, which is why it is the different shades, because that matched the thread. And then she quilted it. And she was just, it's an unusual piece.
Yeah.
With the embroidery. So she said, I'm so glad that my cousin said, okay, I'll bring it to you next time I come, because she lives in Sacramento, and didn't go ahead and throw them out. That same lady made this quilt top.
Yeesh. You gotta be careful with those rail fences.
And she says, I have no idea why there's a yellow block in the center, but that's how the top was when I bought it. And there's 2 reverse blocks, white and black or blue. There's one here and one on that end. And the top itself was completed. And so all she had to do was put the backing on and quilt it. But it was in the same box with the same note as as the pink squares.
So it's still about the 40s?
It's in 1937,
37.
in the 30s. Yeah. And she just did muslin on the back. She can afford. Yep. Annette put the muslin on because she figured it kind of went with the era.
Yep.
This quilt was made by my mother. She did machine piecing, but it is hand quilted. It took her a year to do the quilting. She would sit and do it at night when she was, while Dad was watching TV. Around the border, there's water and fish. And my dad made templates for her to do the patterns on. Because he said, since you have the shells, he said, you can't just do plain quilting. Because she'd done the year before, she'd done a log cabin quilt for me, and that was just pretty much straight line quilting. He says, you can't do that on this. So he made the templates for her for the fish and for the watermarks.
Look at the fish. Oh. My turn.
Yes.
I see that.
And the pink fabrics, I helped my mom pick out at the fabric store that used to be in Hammond years ago. She was picking out some purple fabrics, and I said, Mom, let me help you, because I know Nancy likes painting. And it was really funny, because the lady there said, you're really good at this color thing, do you want a job? And I thought my mom was going to fall over, because she says, well, she doesn't even sew. And at the time, I didn't take up quilting until about 10 years ago.
So that's what you're quilting? I didn't know that.
No, I shouldn't say that. I made my first quilt 2 years before I retired, but I've been collecting fabric for 25 years. I would visit my girlfriend Lee in Colorado about every other year, and she's always been a quilter. At one point, she even had a quilt shop. So, we would go to quilt stores all around, and I really liked Asian fabrics at the time, and so I would pick up just fat quarters here and there. And so I collected them for about 20 years before I put them together in a rail fence quilt, my very first quilt. And the gentleman that quilted it for me was really cute. He embroidered my name and my first quilt in the year on the backing for me. And he would say, now I know this is your first quilt, but you've got to remember, 1/4 inch, because it was 2 inches wider at the top than it was at the bottom. And I was so sure I'd been so careful, but you learn as you go. I had just learned to use a rotary cutter, so I probably wasn't as accurate as I could have been. This quilt belongs to a member of our guild, Dolores Matney. She grew up and lived in Annapolis, Maryland, and when she and her husband lived there, they would sponsor cadets from the Naval Academy. And one particular young man came to their house on weekends, and they took him on trips and home-cooked meals, and he came for holidays when he couldn't go home. And in his senior year, at Christmas time, his parents gave her this quilt. It's an Amish quilt that was made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's hand-pieced, hand-quilted, and it's just a treasured memory for her. And it was in I was going to sneeze. But anyway, this stays on one of the beds in her house. She swaps it out with a few others seasonally, but the thing that was kind of interesting, someone asked me yesterday, well, I thought the Amish all did just solid fabrics because they were plain, but this is a quilt that's made for sale to the Englishers. So the fabrics, there is solid in there, but it isn't entirely solid. And also at that time in Annapolis, the Amish had a farmer's market on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And they sold their produce and their butter and their honey and handmade furniture and also handmade quilts. And she had seen a quilt in this pattern in one of the booths, and she asked the gentleman there if she could have it made in a different colorway, and he said, sure, I can have it in 2 or 3 weeks. What color do you want? He wouldn't take a deposit, and he said, and when I get it back, if you really don't like it, you don't have to pay for it, I'll be able to sell it. And so this was the quilt that was because purple was her favorite color. It looks a little bit bargello-y, but not 100%. Yeah. But the way they did the colors from light to dark, I think it's really stunning. And again, it's handmade, hand-pieced, hand-quilted. And they can do them this quickly because it's a community project, so a daily quilting bee, I would imagine.
Whose is this?
This is Dolores, it's also, yeah. And it came from, it's about the same age as the other one.
So about 60s, 50s?
No, about 60s.
60s.
Yeah. Probably the later 60s when she lived there.
That's beautiful. Oh wow, the quilting is even better on the back.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's really, it's very interesting. Super pretty. Sometimes the back looks prettier than the front.
Well, sometimes that's the best way to see it.
Yeah, from the back.
Yeah. This quilt was made by my grandmother, my dad's mom, from all the strips of fabric that she had left over from making clothing. She was an excellent seamstress. She sewed all of her dresses. Yes. This is a log cabin. Yeah. She sewed all of her dresses, all of her daughter's dresses. She made sport coats for her husband and for my dad and his brother. My Aunt Mary had a very long torso, so it was difficult for her to find bathing suits. So grandmother learned to make bathing suits because Aunt Mary was not going to be seen in a two-piece bathing suit. Not way back then.
I don't think there's anything that's repeating, except for the blue squares. Other than that, I can't find two fabrics.
Well, there are a few pieces that are repeats.
Mhm. Yeah, very few.
Like this little green flag right here. That was my favorite dress when I was 6 years old. I thought it was so fancy because it had yellow and green glass buttons, and I was just sure I wanted one diamond jewels on the dress. I loved that dress.
Where's the dress?
Oh, it's long gone. It's long gone. And other pieces in here, skirts from, that my sisters and I had, or dresses, some for doll quilts. I had a jumper made out of this fabric here.
And what's this one here? The fruit. Is it fruit?
Yeah, this
Okay.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the little fruits. Yeah, I had a jumper made out of that.
So cool.
Now this quilt has blue squares in the center. And everyone thinks traditionally there should be red to symbolize the heart of the home, the log cabin, or yellow, the light in the window that calls the guides you home. The log cabin pattern is one of the oldest quilt patterns around. And before the Civil War, most of them were tied and not quilted because they were made with whatever scraps they had. So it was different weights of wool, it was twill, you might have had linen, and with all the different weights of fabric, it was too hard to handle them, so they were tied. And interestingly, center blocks then were mostly black. And there are some stories, they don't really know how true they are, but during the Civil War, when the red and yellow started to appear, that some quilts still had the black in them. People used to use quilts in the wintertime to put up in their windows for insulation, and most of the time it was the back that faced, but if they had them turned around, the story goes that if there were black squares in the center, then the house was a safe spot for travelers on the Underground Railroad. And some people also say they think that, and this is just a story, probably has nothing to do with it, but that they call it log cabin because they became real common around the Civil War. President Lincoln grew up in a log cabin. Therefore, these, were named after him. But I think that's just a story. And this is again a summer weight quilt. My grandmother had rheumatoid arthritis, so she did the piecing with a sewing machine. Yeah. Her gardener at the time, she had it hanging out on the line after she washed it, and he asked her if she was going to have it quilted, or she was going to quilt it, and she said, I have to find somebody, and he said, I have somebody. belong to the Black Episcopal Church in Dallas, and their women's circle there did quilting to raise money for their projects. And so it was hand quilted by those ladies. She made this quilt in 1958, but a lot of the fabric were years past. And my dad got it in 1963 when she passed away, along with her bedroom set. She had a beautiful double-sized black oak poster bed, which is up in my mom's house right now, and it's actually mine. And of course, the back because it wasn't the bed; it was always on the bed. So I told my sisters, the bed is mine. Quilt is mine too. We can fight over all the other ones, but this one's mine too. I was just going to tell you, how many in here belong to a quilt guild? Quite a few people, but not everybody. And I'm sure that those of you who are in a guild, you do the same thing we do with our charity quilts. This quilt was made with Blocks of the Month. One of our members, Lee, won the blocks that month and pieced it together and had it quilted. And there's a project in town called No Child Sleeps on the Floor, where they make bunk beds for kids. And this particular quilt will be donated to them. Last year, our guild donated over 220 quilts.
The 320.
320? Oh, it went up. Okay, it went up. And sometimes when we run really low, we'll get together at one meeting. One of our meetings we did bring your sewing machine and bring 25 10-inch squares and some strips. And in one meeting, we made 20 of these. And the pattern is by Dora Carey, so it doesn't quite exactly follow her pattern, but I called her up and asked her if it was okay if we modified it. And she said, it's going to charity, so do whatever you want. So this was we did this in June, and in an hour and a half, we pulled out 20 tops, and some people that weren't finished took them home and finished them. A few members came, because I sent the pattern in the newsletter, and they came with them already done and quilted, so that was really nice too. So that was some extra ones that we had. And we have other little friendship groups that get together, and one does a block a month, and a member made this child-sized quilt out of that, and that group contributes another 12 quilts a month to our little cause. So we give them to the CASA program for the foster kids at Christmas time. Last year we gave 32 quilts to the kids that were in foster homes. We give quilts to the homeless shelter, the women's shelter, people in the dialysis center here in town, people who are getting chemotherapy at the oncology center here in town, and also over in San Ynez. A veterans group, once in a while, will call up and say, you have a quilt we can use. So they go all over the place. And that concludes my show. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. I'm so glad you came. Thank you.
Oh, that was fun. Somebody asked if I was near the Air Force Base. I have no idea what's over here. I know that my drive up was, I don't know, there wasn't very much of anything. But I'm definitely in California. Okay, that was fun. I hope you guys were able to hear her. I wasn't sure, but I've never seen a bed turning, and now I want to see bed turnings everywhere. I want to turn a bed. All right, we left off right here with this one, so we're going to go around to the next side. Okay, this is a Carpenter Star by Dolores Matney and quilted by Beth Anthony. Nice boutiques. Oh, good, Catherine. That makes me very happy. Oh, Rebecca, you said that's where I am. Well, then that's where I am. This looks like this was made with half square triangles mostly. This is cool. It seems like a fast one to make and somewhat simple to put together. Okay. This one is for sale. It's machine pieced and quilted by Beth Anthony. Ooh, this is a okay. This is a crochet lady panel that was given to her. Look at the quilting. It's very pretty. Soft. I want to get a crocheted panel. I want to play. I'm gonna go this direction. See if I can't step back to get this. There we go. Beautiful feathers on the outside. This is really cool. Did you guys see the quilt that was with the ombre pinks and the big cross stitch flowers? Oh my goodness, I wanted to just cry out when I saw that quilt on the bed. Like, wait, what is that? With the variegated quilting in the back. Can't wait. Rebecca, there's no place I will not go. I mean, people say, oh my goodness, this is so far. Nothing is far to me. I will drive anywhere. I cannot be stopped. So if somebody says, hey, we've got a show, well, if I can go, I'll go. Kathleen Hatchell and Beth Anthony. Beth Anthony is busy. She is a quilted lady. I love how this fabric looks right here. This one, but then again, I'm a 9-patch girl, so are we even shocked? There are so many different blocks here. Sorry. Rebecca, somebody reached out from on the channel. They sent me an email and said, hey, come on. But I'm actively looking for quilt shows too. I stay in contact with Rona the Ribbeter, and you gotta want it. But if you follow my channel, you'll probably stumble upon them too. I love that quilt too. But wait, are you talking about the pink one or the one that I was just looking at? This one here is by Dolores Matney. And this is a little guy, a wall hanging. I gotta get a long arm, guys. I gotta get a computerized long arm because I want to be able to just whip these out. I feel like Beth Anthony is whipping them out. Look at this guy down here. This one is by Joan Watts. Beth Anthony is making a killing out here because she's doing everybody's stuff. Look at that feather. It's so pretty on that black. It's a variegated thread. And I think this is that twisted ruler block with the 9 patches. Yeah, I love a 9 patch. And something about the way that this looks, well, I don't know. I could just sit with this quilt for a while. I definitely want to cuddle under it. That's a Mac Wants to Cuddle quilt. Kittens Who Lost Their Mittens. You got to tell me where you are so that I can find out. There's one. I hope that I didn't miss it. I think there's one in Norco. I gotta look at my schedule and see what's going on. Look at these mittens. I want to do mittens. You get to play with all the mittens. I want to pick fabrics for the mittens in Austin, Texas. But I think I'll be back in Texas this year. I will literally be in Texas in a few days, but we'll see. We'll see what I get into. We will see, because I will be in Texas this weekend. Kaleidoscope Confection by Diane Luden. Aw, it's a sweet quilt. This quilt should be for me because I love some sweets. Look at that. You get fruits, and it looks like I see some cupcakes and pretzels and candies. What a fun quilt to make. Oh, it does give a kaleidoscope effect. I didn't even think about the kaleidoscope part. Didn't even process it. Just
Oh, yeah, it is the same.
I'm gonna try the one block wonder, but I don't know. It frightens me because I feel like I'm the person who's gonna have one panel that's off to the left or off to the right and just mess up the whole effect. I love little kid quilts, also known as mat quilts, at my big age because people just swear everything that I love is so kitty, but whatever. This is so cute. Look at the hearts and the train. Oh, the train. This one's by Kay Dunghart and quilted by Beth Anthony. And look at the quilting in the background. It's choo-choo trains. And it's interesting because of the color chosen. It doesn't take away from the actual focal images of the trains that are going through. This is a really cute one. A little boy and a little girl quilt right next to each other. Or maybe this is for your son. I don't know why I have to feel like they are a little boy or little girl quilts. They're just quilts, right? Let's see, can we go down this aisle? This one is called Fireworks by Kathy Coaster. I get the firework vibe. Do you guys get it? It looks like the firework is done. I wonder if she's jumping. Have you guys ever seen people who don't put a foot on their machine and they move the fabric back really fast, back and forth? It's pretty cool. I'm not exactly sure if she's... No, the stitches are too consistent to do that. So it looks like she's stitching down and then stitching back and then coming back in with some embellished beads for the centers. Yeah, she's stitching down and then coming on back. Woo, she's working. Okay. Yosemite Pines by Amy Wilson. Got a little binding in there. Let's see. Sewn with Love. I know that pattern is by Quiltworks. This is by Alicia Bonnet. I love Quiltworks. I want to do the Mod Cat. This is the Mod Dog. Love the collar. Then we've got a Sarah Goer. And this one here is appliqued by Kathy Gregory. Where do you find these little glasses? Look, each one has glasses. It's cute. You guys know I like big glasses. All right, this one is Lone Star, Mr. Domestic, Zoom class. We were talking about Lone Star the other day. But I want to do the one that is split, and part of it's over there, and the other part's over there. But I'll never forget the first time I saw it done like that. It was gray with rainbow. Look at the quilting on this. This is quilted by Ann Bixler.
Right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Why did it say appliqued? What was appliqued on here? Machine piece and appliqued. I don't see any applique work on here. Am I missing something? What a cool way to quilt this. I thought every diamond had its own thing, but now that I'm looking at it, wow, I'm really digging this quilting. Really digging the way this is quilted. Huh. Very cool. is another class, Sarah Goer class. Nancy Andrews, quilted by Beth Anthony. Such a cool and serene palette. Looks like we're using batiks. As I was looking at that log cabin quilt a moment ago, I was thinking, what would a log cabin look like if I did it? Would I want it to be super straight? Would I want it to be asymmetrical? Would I want it to be improv? I was having all kind of conversations with myself about a log cabin. Hey,
Weren't you at the coastal
I
club?
know you. I know you.
I told Alicia about you. I was
Oh.
like, tell her to come.
And I did. And I absolutely did.
And she said, oh, she couldn't come because she was ill or something.
Oh, I was in, yeah. People are like, how are you?
She's going to be
everywhere?
so excited.
I am very excited to be here.
I'm
This is so
so
cool.
happy.
This is great. Tiny show,
Yeah.
big impact.
Yeah.
Love it.
So-
Love it.
Oh, I'm thrilled. You know, I was telling, she emailed me asking about you,
Uh-huh.
and I went back to our website, and I got sucked into our show again, you know?
When is yours? Is it next
in
year?
another year.
It's in next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I was looking for it this year, and I was like, maybe it's every
No,
other
it's,
year.
It's biannual, and
That's a big show.
I'm show chair again. so
So you're gonna be you're gonna be busy.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking for. Oh, I can't wait because I was like, did I miss it?
No.
Okay,
no, it's-
perfect.
And you know,
That show gets maybe 20,000 views. That show is huge on my
Yes,
channel.
yeah.
They loved that show.
yeah, well,
So
all
I
of our members that couldn't go to it for
Yeah.
whatever
Oh.
reason, you know, they go for it, and
Oh,
I think
good.
that it just gets legs. You know, we
that
have
was
a lot
a
of
good
quotes
show
in
though.
there.
That was a
Yeah.
good show. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm excited next
It
year.
was nice to go back through it again. Because I was busy doing it.
When is it? It's usually around this time, right?
It's more like it's harvest of color, so it's harvest time.
So it's in November
And,
around.
we're still deciding on a date.
Okay.
It depends on the venue.
Well, please let me know.
This is Mac.
Hi. How are
She's the one
you?
who did that show that you got to
Oh,
see
that
in
was,
Mongolia.
I was in Mongolia.
Oh, you were in Mongolia. My
And
goodness.
I got, a member sent me the link and said, you can
gotta
watch
see
the
this.
quilt."
That show really does have legs. It really does.
So
It
I
had
think it
legs
was
at the
great.
time.
Well, I am so glad to see you again.
What a fun thing you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, this one here is Lone Star Remix, Alicia Bonnet. If you guys haven't checked out their show, it's probably one of the first shows that I filmed, maybe. It's the Beach City show, and it's a heck of a show. And theirs is biannually, and I thought I missed that show. I was like, where is it? So I'm glad to know that I didn't. Next year, hopefully I'll be there because it's a really good show. Okay, what are we doing? We are doing Lone Star in purples. This must be, oh yeah, Mr. Domestic. I like this. When they jump in, they really jump in. Everybody jumps in. This one is quilted with an all-over quilt pattern, and they're like bubbles and swirls. And it really lets the diamond speak. There's nothing to compete with here. Just beautiful piecing. And it complements the background that was shown there. What's behind me? We got a little doggy. This is called Fancy a Flight. Machine quilted by Diana Luden. Oh, okay, small quilt. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm getting it together. This is a small art piece. It looks mixed media. And then we have Puppy Love by Tina Stout and quilted by Beth Anthony. Then we've got some ribbon quilting here and a little doggy with little eyes and for the buttons. Then we've got Rise and Shine, Diana Luden. Oh, this is a beautiful mixed media piece here. She found roof fabric for the roof, or maybe she cut that out of a panel that had a house on it or something. We've got some crochet work with some rhinestones. and a beautiful brooch and some eyes looking through the house. This is really cute. I like it. And did we look at this log cabin? This is called My Wonky Cabin by Kathy Gregory. What is my log cabin going to look like? Because at the end of the day, as I was talking about that earlier, I want to make a log cabin. I don't want to check out of this world without having made a log cabin. But I just want to pick it. I think I might want one that is a little bit more structured. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I struggle with improv. I struggle to appreciate it. I struggle to make it. Improv, my improv just has to have something that's like some type of continuity to it for me to really like it, honestly. This is Pieced by Beverly Priest. Look at all these different Asian fabrics. I love when people collect fabrics and then put them all in a quilt. Variegated threads used for the quilting, which looks beautiful on black fabric. Look at some of these. I know so many people who collect and love Asian prints. So let me try to make sure I go through these because this quilt is obviously to showcase these gorgeous fabrics. So let's let them sing for a second here. I like this background fabric too. It's not a flat white. It's got like a tiny dot in it. I love this graffiti style. I guess it's more calligraphy. No, it's got a graffiti feel to it. Oh, this one's a fun one. I want to make this quilt. Is there a quilt that I've walked by that I didn't say I wanted to make? Oh, this one's for sale. This is by Ann Bixler. And it's called Something in My Pockets. You know, we can all make this quilt. And probably should. Look at how cool this is. I'm having the hardest time not sticking my hand in these pockets. Note to self, if I ever make one of these, I think I'm just going to sew the pockets shut. I think I'm just going to, note to self, sew pockets shut. It's really cool. Interesting fabric in the background. And if you notice, the quilting isn't going over the pockets. It's stopping. And that means decisions were made. And I love a good choice that's clear that it's a choice. Pretty cool. All right. This is made by Kathy Costa Downey. Just so. I heard that. Just sit down and just sew. I told you guys we're going to start seeing a lot of green quilts this year. Here's another one. I don't think people use greens enough. If you want to stand out in a show, use green because nobody does. This is Don't Box Me In by Lee Olson. Machine quilted by Beth Anthony. I wonder if that was Beth Anthony that I was just talking to. I think that woman's name is Beth. I wonder if it's Beth Anthony. If so, she doesn't have time to do a show. She's got to quilt everybody's stuff. Ooh, we use a little Tula. I like this. She used this Tula. So if you ever see this Tula stripe in person, it's not black and this turquoise color. It's like an off. It's like if you mix black and turquoise together. And whenever I look at that color, I'm like, what do people do with that? This is the perfect quilt for it. Absolutely perfect. Love that color binding with it. Just made me happy. Also, this fork fabric also makes me very, very happy. And this is a edge-to-edge quilting. I like this block. Simple block. This seems like this could be a fast sew. Here is that same block. I guess it's not exactly the same. They put one more piece in, but this one's by Beverly Priest and quilted by Beth Anthony. Look at these big, beautiful blocks. I like big blocks, and I cannot lie. They just come together fast, and they make such a nice statement. And if you've got a bunch of scraps, I want to see them big. Oh, I love this fabric. That butterfly. I believe she has the block. I think that's a, who's the lady who does all the, oh Lord, here we go. Victoria, it's not Victoria, the craft. Violet Craft, is it Violet Craft? I think that's her fabric of her blocks. And I like that. She's got it in a bunch of different colors. You see it in the blue and the chartreuse. It's kind of cool to see these fabrics. If you really stop and look at them, you'll see that they are giving you some continuity because it's the same fabric in a different color that's repeated. And it kind of gives this quilt, it absolutely gives this quilt a cohesive vibe. It might seem scrappy because it is, but there were some decisions made, and you guys know how I feel about a decision. You like big blocks too? I think a lot of people like big blocks, and you don't always get a chance to see them. The Adventures of Sunbonnet Sue. Sunbonnet Sue. I like how this is quilted. So this is outlined. So we've got like an origami style shape here. This is a windmill, a dimensional windmill. Can you guys see the dimensionality? There you go. And then we have it outlined in the quilting, and then a meander behind that, and then some straight lines. And then I think there's a large meander on the border. And it doesn't need to have much happening in regards to quilting because these prints will eat it up. They're so busy that you really can't see it. This is absolutely quilted appropriately for this type of quilt. I love it. None of the quilting goes through your image. I wonder if she did the handwork on Sue. Because this is the kind of embroidery that I would want to do. It's not super dense. It's just enough for you to give it a hand touch. You know, it's the kind that I'd actually finish. I see some stuff in those little hoops that I would never finish. All right, let's do...
These 5 quilts here are all from the same workshop, so that's why they're so similar.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for telling me. All right, so this is Tumbling Blocks. Attended a Quilt Guild workshop, Rob Appel, machine piece by Nancy Andrews, Beth Anthony, and Beverly Priest. You guys check this out. It's pieced by Nancy, quilted by Beth, but hand bound by Beverly. Beverly, wherever you are my new best friend. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you. Rob Appel, love that guy. I first found him when he was with Missouri Star doing the Man Sewing channel, and I really enjoyed his work. Now he's traveling all around and bringing us quilting from the road and all kinds of stuff. Rob is just awesome. He's hooked up with that quilt shop, I think in Texas or someplace. Don't get me to tell the story, but if you don't know who Rob Appel is, check him out. You might see some stuff that you like. If you like me, you'll probably like him too. All right, shoot. You got an invite. Good. Hang out with me. Okay, same quilt sort of technique. Boy, could you imagine making this? The quilting on this is such a good time. Look at the quilting. It just runs right through. Stitching post in Texas. There it is, stitching post. This is so cool. It's just a cool quilt. These dimensional blocks. Okay, now let's see another variation of it. So look at the top. Look at how they did theirs. So they didn't take it all the way to the ends. They have something different going on in their borders. Still geometric, which is very different than this one here. Look at the top on this one. Okay. Then we've got this one over here, which is pretty much tumbling block, hers and his. Oh, I like this. So these two belong to two different people. I like that. One for you, one for him. So 36 is hers, which is this one over here. And then his is 37. That's awesome. I should do something like this for me and Sean. Never gonna happen, guys. I don't even know why I just put that out there. Love how these are outlined in black. It makes the blocks really look like they're floating within another block. Check out the cornerstones to give it a little something extra. Something extra I have to worry about. This person is daring. I like it. I like the color choice in here too. People always ask about which design should I use to quilt my quilt. And my quilter used to always say, if you've got squares, you don't necessarily need to do squares. Think about doing something that's softer, a circle or something along those lines. And sure enough, we have these hard blocks, these hard edges, and the quilter chose to quilt it in a swirl, Miss Beth Anthony. I wonder if I was just talking to Beth Anthony. If so, I think she and I need to develop a very serious quilting relationship. All right, 3D tumbling blocks, again, hand bound by Beverly Priest. I love that she's the hand binder for people. Quilted by Beth Anthony, and the same quilting design, edge to edge. And instead of having, instead of having the quilts float in black, they're floating in this white, no, in a gray color. And they're getting deeper as you go down to the bottom and lighter at the top. And we have a scrappy binding this time, using the same fabrics. This is fun to look at the same quilt 3 different ways. That's probably why on Missouri Star, when they do the triple play is always interesting to see 3 different people work the same project, the same quilt, the same shape. All right, so now we've got Joan Harris, machine quilted by Beth Anthony. It's called Color Therapy. Anything with black and white makes my heart sing. This is an interesting block. So it's on point. Never be scared when you see something is on point. There's usually a trick to it. And if you guys watched mine where I set something on point, really you're just think about piecing it straight and then just putting it on its side, because that's a whole row that way. Don't think about it going this way. Think about it going from one angle to the next, down to the right. So when I look at quilts like this, I turn my head to the left, and then I think about how it was put together. Again, working with batiks. People love batiks. People who love batiks love batiks. And this is a kind of a cool block. So let's break this block down just because I'm drawn to it and I'm kind of thinking about how I would want to play with it. I see a half square triangle right here with the black and the color. Then we've got a tiny itty bitty background strip right there, and then the black focal kind of border right there. Another block, another half square triangle, tiny piece, then that piece. Very interesting.
Were there anything towards the beginning?
And then we've got a square and a square in the center. That's awesome. I like how this comes together. And then you just repeat on all 4 sides. Excuse me. Churn Dash is my favorite, and this gives me Churn Dash vibes. Okay, moving on. You guys know that sometimes I get swept up in the quilts. I make no apologies. If you're on this channel, you're my people. You get it. Beth Anthony. Beth Anthony just wanted to get down on her machine. This is totally about her quilting. And boy, did she do it. Look at this. All right, let's get in closer. So we've got some simple tone on tone type blocks. I'm not going to call the block simple. I'm just going to say the colorway is simple. Excuse me, guys. But look at what she chose to do where. So we've got striping here, a wave. Then we have like a swirl. And then we have like a bead here. It's where it's repeated and how many are repeated in the row. This quilting is so cool. It's the decisions in this quilting for me. It's what is where and why. Look right here. So then we have this curve coming in, and you would think that this would just be repeated on the other side, or maybe offset by one, but it's not. It's something completely... Wow. I'd like to actually have a conversation with her about this quilting since I'm getting more into quilting and really paying attention to what is being quilted and why. So you've got these circles, the circle here, and a circle down there. I'm just really digging this. And I'm not usually a whole cloth girl because quilting is not my favorite part. I'm more of a piecing girl. But there's something special about this one. Okay. Roy G. Biv, Kathy Hatchell, Beth Anthony, and Beverly Priest. You guys know Roy G. Biv, the colors of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Where is it? If it is Beth Anthony, we're gonna put, you know what, I'm gonna ask that woman if, I wonder, she was standing over here talking a moment ago. You think it's a coincidence that that woman's name is Beth and there are like 20,000 quilts here that are by Beth Anthony? Because if so, we're going to bring her right over here to talk about this white quilt. Christine Guffrey, machine quilted by Beth Anthony. Ellie the Elephant. You know, it speaks volumes, whoever Beth Anthony is, that everybody trusts her to quilt their stuff. I'd say about 90% of these quilts have been quilted by her. So that means that she is probably really good and has a good relationship with the people that she's quilting for. You know? The kind of person who makes you feel good when you get your quilt back. I am digging this elephant. I think this is Violet Craft. This is quite an accomplishment. This is foundation paper piece. And they are big pieces, but there are a lot of pieces. I always said I was going to do the lion. Have I done the lion? No. Did I buy the lion? I think I did. I think I did buy the lion. She's got a couple of them that I swear I'm going to do one day. This is Shades of Blue by Patricia Kelly. A lovely bed quilt. Nice design, simple. If you ever want to take a super simple quilt and just bump it up, throw that sucker on point and let it run. I love this. Simple. Simple, simple. And we've got, I guess, a bit of custom here because we've got ovals in the borders and then a center focal quilting element. It probably looks gorgeous. I don't see any white coats. White gloves, not a white coat. Look at this. Northern Star. Ooh, pretty. Brenda Gilbert. Ombres. Gorgeous ombres. Love that she did the center in purples because I'm a purple lover. And I love that she got an ombre fabric to match a rainbow ombre binding to match her quilt. Looks good.
Wait, this is the silk.
Okay, guys, I see her.
You have the, you want the top one as well? You have to be 5 feet.
Nancy.
Okay. All right. Look at that, a churn dash. You guys know how I love a churn dash.
Probably about 6.
I'm gonna go around. Start over here. Here we go. All right, guys, now we're getting into the quilts that are literally taller and wider than me. Like, these are big quilts. This is number 50, City Girl. Aw, City Girl. Tina Stout, quilted by Beth Anthony. Is Beth Anthony here?
Yes, she's down front.
She's down front? I got questions.
Okay, come on.
Well, you know, I'm gonna come see her. I'm gonna come see her. I'd like to talk to her about every quilt that she's quilted in here.
She didn't mind. Well, she does all mine, but the carpenter store down there, she did that one.
I can't. I'm gonna. When I finish with this, I'm gonna go talk to Miss Beth Anthony because
She's at the admissions table.
Okay.
Where you pay.
where I come in, I might have spoken with her, but I didn't know that she had done.
Yeah,
All of this.
She's done
Yeah,
probably 3/4 of
at
it.
least.
Yeah.
I'd say at least.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna find her. Thank you.
Yeah, she's just down there at the admissions table. She has a pink.
Pink. Okay, pink. Will do.
Like purple dot or purple quilt.
All right. Give me just a moment, and we will continue on. All right, here we go. The way that this looks in the camera is like this area here is orange, but in person it really comes up more of a brick red. What is this block? I like this block. I'm staring at it, guys, so that means you guys are staring at it with me. I'm kind of taking it in. I'm looking at the quilting. Give me a minute just to process this quilt real quick. I like these colors. It's almost like this might have been a layer cake. It goes so well together. It feels like it was just meant to go. So I'm not sure if they pulled this on their own or if they used a layer cake. Either way, it was a great decision, especially for this this quilt. It's cool. I like the binding. I don't always go for a lighter binding because I'm scared that it's gonna, I don't know, get dirty. I don't know what I think, but I like that this is a peach binding. It goes really well with the colors in the quilt. It's pretty. Well, 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 we have seen this block on my channel before. This was Paper Piece by the Lone Grangers, Thursday Friendship Group, machine embroidered and quilted by Annette Fletcher, I'm sorry, and hand binding by Beverly Priest. All right. Ooh, somebody did the spine. Things that matter. Material obsession, I like that. Ooh, look at the binding on this. The bindings are fun. Having a good time looking at the bindings, guys. I like that they used the letter stitching on their machines. Looks like these are all machine stitched out, which is awesome. They probably would have kicked me out the friendship group because I swear I would have found some kind of obscene Alexander Henry to put on the front of my book. Why would I do that, guys? See? That's why I'm always at quilt shows by myself, because I would do that. Here we have Machine Piece, Beverly Priest, and Beth Anthony. I love this quilt, guys. I love it, love it. Why? Yes, it's simple, but it's striking, it's pretty, and it's easy, and I just love it. I just do. Tell me if you guys love it as much as I do. It's a simple quilt, not a lot going on. Check out how it comes together. 2 rectangles, turn them. 2 rectangles, turn it. And then, same, you just have to make sure that coordinates with the one next to it. But I'm sure there's a formula for that. And I just love it. This is one of those quilts that you can make for your first time out in the gate and really get a striking, pretty one, fall in love with your fabrics. They're a good size rectangle. This is Dora Carey pattern. Nice. It's called Heat Wave. And I'm sure she tells you exactly how to do it. And the cool thing is, if you have this in yardage, you could just totally strip piece this. This could be done in a day. This feels like a quilt in a day kind of quilt. And then we have an edge to edge, but I like edge to edges that have 2 elements and not 1. And so you're like, what? I'll show you guys a 1 element. But here we have a flower that goes into the leaves too. And so as it repeats, it looks like you're getting more for your money, more bang for your buck. Dora Carey. I like Dora Carey. She has that H bag, I think. Ooh, we've got a sampler. A sampler. Okay. This is called Mystery Farmhouse. Block of the month. And this is by Beth Anthony. This feels like something you might see on the Moda site. It gives me a Moda feel. I love churn dashes. You put a churn dash in something or a variation of a churn dash and I am going to give it a look. Look at all the different blocks. Did we see this one already? No, we didn't turn around here. Okay, somebody said they were into kaleidoscopes, and here we have definitely a kaleidoscope quilt. This one's by Susan Baldwin and Maggie George, Blooming Non-Patch. Wow. I should say it gives a kaleidoscope feel because it's not put together in a kaleidoscope way. This quilt is ginormous. I cannot get back far enough for you guys to see how big it is. Definitely using all K. No, that's not true. Maybe all Free Spirit because there's some Tula dead center. But I think this is a Free Spirit fabrics. She's probably like, I needed one more gradation to get that light blue, and so she threw Tula in the middle because the rest of them are Kaf, I'm pretty sure. But I see that bird in there. This is pretty. I like it. Oh, I use the binding. I've used that binding fabric. Isn't it fun when you find fabrics that you've used? Another Kaf quilt. This one's by Christine Guffrey, maybe? Look at these big stars. They just pop right off of that blue. Another pretty quilt. That's nice. Look at this. Look at this right here. Variegated. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go around and see where we're gonna go here. We're gonna go this way. Oh, this is another Dora Carey one. This guy is big. Nancy Andrews, Beth Anthony, and Handbound by Beverly Priest. I haven't done a big quilt in a while, guys. I feel like I owe you guys a big quilt. I keep doing these little 3-yard quilts. Maybe I'll do a 3-yard quilt in a king size for funsies. Instead of it taking me one day, maybe it'll take me a whole 2 days to do, right? We'll see. Look at that nice big border to make this large. Totally works. I would love to see this on a bed. I bet you it's just gorgeous, but then again, I'm a purple girl. Joan Watts, quilted by Beth Anthony. Red, white, and blue quilt. I thought I was going to see so many more red, white, and blue quilts, seeing as all that we are in a veterans hall. Zen Chic, Lee Olson, Beth Anthony. This feels so mod. Everything about this quilt feels extra mod. The color story, the patterns within the fabrics, this big orange peel quilting pattern. So this is a repeat. This is just a single repeat with nothing else to it. Like the other one had the flower with the leaves, and this one is just a repeating circle. It looks good though on this quilt, but I love when you can use one that has more than one element in it, so it seems like you're doing custom quilting without doing custom quilting. This is very interesting. So as I'm looking at the top in that center there, you can see that the blocks seem to be going that way, right? Or actually that way, that way, that way. And then you turn it, and then you turn it. It's cool. Not difficult, right? Simple elements. Hi. Diana, I've seen lots of your quilts in the show. Hi. I do. It's in here. I'll get it to you guys before I check out, for sure. Okay. Uh-huh. I do indeed. I'll be sure to talk to you before I get out of here. No problem. Anna Landadler. Oh, look at this. She got her dog smack dab in the center. Now, how did he get on here? Because this is big. I guess if you have a wide format printer, you can do this. I wonder if it's big enough for me to do it on mine. Or if she had this done like on Spoon Flower, you could do it. It's just going to cost you an arm and a leg. How big is this? Probably, it's a pretty good sized panel. Don't you love how a log cabin can give you a curved feel even though it's straight?
Yes.
Log cabins, I tell you, so much you can do with them. And the quilting, you have a meander with a big circle. Meander, big circle, meander, big circle. And then we have a scalloped border. It's pretty cool. Ooh, a William Morris quilt. Megan Cullen, Beth Anthony. Shout out to all the William Morris lovers. So many people love William Morris. So after I leave here, because the show is a little bit smaller, I'm going to have time to stop by at Roxanne's. You guys want me to go live at Roxanne's? Roxanne's is staying open until they find a seller, so I can still show you guys what they have. And then after I leave Roxanne's, I've got to run to Super Buzzy. Renee's like, yes, yes, do that. Did I show who made this? I did. I did show who made this. Did I love on it a little bit? Let's love on this quilting. Look at how cool this quilting design is. Oh, oh my goodness. Look at that. Can you guys see that quilting design? It feels very regal. It's a great design. Go Beth Anthony. Nice. Okay. So then we have Lynn Taylor. This is pieced by Debbie Nettleson and then quilted by Lynn Taylor. This purple pops off so strong and in a good way. This color story also feels very sophisticated. It's a sophisticated palette. We've got, it's not plum, it's not hot pink, but it's, what is this? It's not red. It's sitting somewhere. It's not really magenta. I don't know what color this is, guys, and I swear I'm a color person. In the camera, it's coming up brighter. It's a little bit more subdued in person, but just a touch. And then we've got it next to this brown, and then this cream here. Something about this color story, and that she pulled the colors from this print right here. And it feels warm. Something about this quilt makes me feel good inside. And it's not a colorway that I would ever put together, so I'm really just digging it. And then we've got this plum fabric right here. So the plum fabric and this purple, it's not like she just pulled that purple from that. It's probably not one that is in that collection, but it just works so well together. I'm digging it. Go Debbie. The quilting is, the thread on this looks like it's probably just a nice 50 weight. I don't even think that's a 40 weight because it really just dissolves into the background. It's all about this piecing. And since I'm a piecing girl, well, you know I like it. Okay, guys, we're just about at the end of the show. Where should we go first? Let's go to the right. This is Machine Piece by Brenda Gilbert. It's called Taos. Is it Taos? It's big. I wish you guys could see how far backward I'm walking so that we can look at this. Look at this color story. It is beautiful. Look at those corners. This is a big quilt, and it looks even more grandiose because of the curtain that's hanging it, but I tell you, this is a big guy. Let's see what Beth did with her quilting in this one. I can't quite tell what it is from the front. There's something happening. Is this a cowboy boot? It looks like it might be a cowboy boot, which is interesting because this definitely gave me a Western kind of vibe. Do you guys see an upside down cowboy boot right there? It's a cowboy boot and a cowboy hat. I think it is. I think it is. There it is. Look, there it is. Cowboy boot. Huh. It definitely gives me that's initially what I was thinking, is kind of a Western kind of vibe. This is so cool. You guys need to tell me which one needs to get our vote for the, does it give a pattern? I'm sure this is yes, here it is right here. There you are. This one's by Christine Guffrey. and machine quilted by Crystal Quilts. All Roads Quilt, also a very large quilt. Nice and bright and colorful. Don't forget, if you need to make it bigger, throw a border on there, guys. Make it a bed quilt. Everything doesn't have to be a throw like I've been making lately. I like the quilting. It's big. It's not tight. It is definitely the kind of quilt that you wouldn't mind cuddling under because it's going to be soft. Uh-huh. All right, and then we're going to do this one. I don't know how I'm asking you guys for your favorites and we haven't even seen them all yet. I think the quilting on this is so awesome. Oh, no problem, Rebecca. I got you. Also a very large quilt. Stars for Michelle, Nancy Andrews, Beth Anthony, and Beverly Priest. Check out this pattern. Cool. It looks very cool. So again, we have these hard diamond shapes, hexagon type shapes, and the quilting that she chose is a round, soft kind of a quilting vibe. Something that we learned today. I wonder if that backing fabric and that binding fabric are the same. Look at the binding fabric. I wish there was a white glove right here, because I'd like to see the back of that. This one might be my favorite. It's striking, and it's huge. It's huge. When I say it's huge, guys, I mean, I realize that it's on a 2-foot stage, but when I tell you I'm looking up into the air and my neck is cocked all the way back, they should have called this. I didn't want to say that, but it's, you're not wrong, because I'm getting ready to say her name one more time. Maybe more. This is called Long Tall Africa. This is stunning. I want to do it. I want to do it in African prints. I want to do it just like this. Maybe in purples though, but I'm doing this. There's no getting around it. It can be done probably with a jelly roll. I was given an African jelly roll. I'm probably gonna need yardage for the center ones though. Although she didn't, she just used 2 of her jelly rolls side by side. Yep, we're doing this quilt. Did we see a pattern? Because this quilt will punch you in the face. Like, I hit the corner and was like, what? But in the best way. I mean, it is striking, guys. And African fabrics are bossy and tricky, and I get very funny about using them. It's a Donna Jordan pattern. Donna Jordan. Isn't that my people? No, Donna Jordan is Jordan Fabrics. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, because we're doing it. Oh, they did a sundresses for the girls. Look at the little sundresses right there. That's cute. Look at that. And then that the orange with that bright blue. A lot of people just use a black with the African fabrics, or usually a black. This person chose to use this beautiful bright orange with a beautiful blue. You guys, I'm telling you, there's something very special about that. That might get our vote. That might get our collective vote. This one is also gorgeous. They couldn't make this one pull out the way that they needed to because of how large it is. But just know that this quilt is epic. Joan Watts, Beth Anthony. Can you guys kind of get the feel of what the pattern is supposed to be? It is cool. It looks like we're using batiks. And look at how beautiful this is. And I think we're using a variegated thread. We are. Oh, Cozy Quilt Design. Okay, I had to just double check on that one. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Boy, this is pretty. Can you guys get it? Do you guys kind of get what it's doing? this makes me want to make a big bed quilt. People who get a chance to sleep under quilts on their bed are just such blessed people. I hope they know how blessed they are. If it's you, you guys are blessed. Even if you made it for yourself, you are loved by you or you are loved by somebody. It's just a magical experience. Yeah, these are king sized. All of the ones that I just showed you are king, and probably the one behind you too. Very possible. Oh, these blocks are cool. Are they all a little different? That one down there is a pinwheel. That one is just kind of pinwheel-esque. Oh, these are cool. The centers of these are very cool. Kind of different. I love when people turn stuff on point. It just gives it a sophistication. Oh, these are fat quarters. Nice. You guys still hanging in there? We're almost done. I did a big quilt. My very first quilt was a large quilt. And the next ones were all large because they were gifts. And then at some point, I probably went to a show and was like, oh, they don't have to be bed sized, even though I think that they should be bed sized. And the reason why I got into doing smaller ones is because I was making so many for the channel, I needed to be able to pump them out a little faster. This is called the Christmas quilt. This is hand appliqued and machine quilted by Leslie Schneider. And I was like, oh, quilts can be small. There are wall quilts, there are art quilts. There's just, the whole quilting world is, I swear it's hidden until you know. Because once you know, you're like, oh my goodness. But I do like big quilts. I like to see a bed quilt. I like to see them at shows. I don't always like to see a little bitty quilt wall hanging. I want to see something that goes on your bed that's like this, that's dynamic and epic and grandiose. There's something about a big quilt like this that just gives you a different feeling than a smaller quilt. There's a place for everything, but I think people have gotten away from doing bed quilts and they do more throws and small quilts now. And I like to see big quilts. Just a preference. Isn't that fun? Oh, I need to make a holiday quilt.
I might start quilting.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
Oh my.
my neighbor.
Oh my. Is it Jan, maybe? Lindergaard? Yeah, big quilts, they do. They take a while. You're absolutely right. They're time consuming, depending upon what pattern you use. But there's just something different about a big quilt. Does it get cold? It did this year, but it depends on what you call cold. Because some people will say it's freezing and it's 60 degrees, and I'm like, that's not quite freezing. So it kind of just depends upon who you are. To me, there are cold days. You could certainly pull out a quilt, not the heaviest of quilts, but you can certainly pull out a quilt during our holiday season. But it definitely got cold this year, and it stayed cold for a long time. We're just now kind of getting back to our 75 everyday kind of weather. I just keep walking back and forth to this quilt. Like I walk up to it and look at something, and then I walk backwards. I am mesmerized by the flying geese that are going around the side. Initially, when I first started quilting, that wasn't my favorite shape. But lately, I am kind of digging them and wanting to play with them. I have an idea for laying them out that could be fun. This quilt is cool. Look at the brown shapes that it makes right there at the top of that square. And the way that it comes to those points, I'm digging this. This is an awesome quilt, and it's big. And I just keep staring at it. Isn't this cute? Somebody made a little tent. It's part of the show. I almost missed you. I'm glad I didn't. It's a card table playhouse by Cindy Erner. I love when people make stuff that are not just quilts. Hence the pillows that you guys just got on my channel. Sometimes you need to step away from a quilt. Use that fabric on something else. And for the next couple of weeks, you'll see. I'm going to throw in a couple of quilts for you, but you're going to start seeing some other things. I love that. That's so cool. What are we doing? Ooh, pineapple. Difficult block to do. I have not attempted it yet. If I do it, I'm probably going to try to do it foundation style. I don't think I'm going to just piece it because it probably will come out looking more like an apple than a pineapple. Don't be fooled by a repeating shape. This is quite tricky to do. Also a very large quilt with beautiful tree quilting in the background. And green fabric on that red. It's so pretty. It's so easy. Catherine, are you joshing me right now? I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd say a pineapple block is easy. This is by Kathy Hatchell, Beth Anthony, and then Beverly Priest. Oh, too much. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Eventually I'll get around to this one. I think I purchased the pattern for it already. I've never seen it in a colorway that's so cool and given such a overtly beachy vibe. Look at the quilting. No, it is. I don't know if I believe you, Catherine. I might have to check it out. I might have to check it out. Look at how many shapes are in this guy. You get a shell, a starfish, and like the fan shape. There's a lot of repeats there. Such a beachy quilt. So pretty. When I walked the floor when I first got in, so the ruler. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna believe you. Look at this. Ooh, isn't this gorgeous? The color choice is exactly what you're seeing in the screen. It is like a mauve, a rose. It is so cool. This quilt is so cool to me. Check out how it works. So she has, look in the border, you see the fabric, it's two-tone. We've got light on one side, dark on the other. And then as you go through the center of the quilt, depending upon which direction you cut that square, using that same fabric, it adds to the whole center part. It actually, get it? Does it make sense? Look, if you cover that right there, but she didn't have to piece that. It's just the fabric. You just cut it properly, and this is what you get. How cool is that? I do not know that I explained that properly. I don't think I did. However, this is awesome. Is this? Oh, it is a pattern. The shirt, it's called Sherbet and Stars. All the vine blocks were fussy cut. The quilting was done on my home sewing machine. This quilt, I almost want to take this one home. My husband would think I lost my mind. Did you guys see I just bought a machine? But this quilt, had I not bought that machine, this quilt might have been coming home with your girl because it is that special. It's tricky. I like things that are tricky.
So, you want a break?
I did not explain that right. I don't know why I can't explain this. But The fabric is doing some of the heavy lifting, guys. That's basically what I'm trying to say. That same fabric is used in the centers to create this dynamic look. It's just awesome. It's just so cool. All right, guys, which ones are your favorites? This one is definitely one of my absolute favorites. That African one in the back is absolutely one of my favorites. All of them are my favorites. All of them. I think we did all the quilts. Is that 72? That's 72. We have just checked out 72 quilts. Had a great time hanging out together. Now I think we finished in enough time. Yep, it's 12:30. I'm gonna hop on out of here and run down to Roxanne's and Carpinteria. You missed the African one. Okay, just for you. Just for you. Let's go down. There it is. Go find Beth Anthony. Okay, I'm gonna go find Beth Anthony right this second. Look at that. Oh, I am. I think it's the size of this and the fact that it's sitting way up in the air. I don't know. It's just special. It just is. And again, I think it uses a jelly roll, but I am going to make that quilt do something amazing. I don't exactly know how, but it's happening. Yeah, you can.
Before you leave,
Uh-huh.
oh, here she comes. I was getting ready to say
Just
she
make-
wants to see you. She wants to see you before you leave.
Well, I am not leaving. Megan, we have had such a good time. I'm still live here.
Okay.
I really want to go talk to Beth Anthony for a moment. I don't know if she's comfortable being on camera, but I got a few questions for her, so I'm gonna ask her some questions. But I'm not leaving. I'll come back to you before I leave, for sure.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna park you guys somewhere, and I'm gonna see if Beth will come talk to us. I don't want to just put her on camera and on the spot, so I'm gonna park you right here, and hopefully nobody will steal you. Let's go see. They're going to be so excited. Okay, guys, Beth said that she's cool with us talking and asking questions. And so we've got to go to this one over here because it's just the all white one.
Oh, that's mine.
Yeah, that's
And
yours.
where is it? Right here.
Now, how did this come together?
So I, in December
I'm gonna stand there.
8th, 2020,
Uh-huh.
received my Gamel Statler Stitcher.
Oh, okay.
And there is two ladies that have something called the Skill Builders Club.
Okay.
And so every month you get a quilt pattern, the designs to quilt it, a YouTube video on how to quilt it, and then printouts of all of it. So this was, it's right here, this was 1 month skill builder project. And it was small. It stopped here and here, but my sister doesn't like color. She likes everything very calm.
Okay.
So I added 2 blocks and then I made it wider. So the Skill Builders Club actually told you where to place the patterns, and the lesson in it was symmetry.
Okay.
How to use different patterns and make them go. And what I didn't think about when I made it wider is I had to make the patterns wider too, which was a little problematic because they became ovals instead of circles.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think it's okay.
Thought it was a decision.
And then and so I pretty much placed the patterns where they said, except I had to decide what I wanted on the top and the bottom.
Okay.
And then I got it all finished and I thought, did that? I started second guessing myself, but then it was just like, okay, well, it works.
No, it's perfect.
It works.
It's absolutely perfect.
So,
Do
yeah.
you have a channel yourself? They're asking if you have a channel.
No, I do this on the very much down low. It doesn't seem like it because there's so many quilts here, but I'm disabled,
Okay.
so sometimes I can't walk. So one of the reasons I bought my Statler is because I could set it up and then I could go sit down and put my leg up.
Wow.
But there's often times where I'm in bed for 3 weeks because I just can't walk. So I don't advertise myself. I'm kind of just word of mouth.
Wow.
And so I don't want to be too popular because I can't be too busy.
Okay.
And I'm also very much a perfectionist. And so if I get too many quilts in my house and I can't get them back to people in what I consider a reasonable time, which is less than a month, I get really agitated.
Okay. I love that about you. A month
Yeah.
turnaround, that's huge.
Well, that's what I try for.
Wow.
Because I just get overwhelmed if I
understand.
have too many.
I-
Because I just want to get them done.
I get it.
know.
I get it.
But I love to do it. It has become a passion with me, and I've really not piecing as much as I used to because I'm spending so much time quilting.
Who services your machine out here?
Gamble has done away with local distributors, and I bought from somebody in Orange County, sight unseen, during COVID with no instruction. I learned everything on YouTube.
Okay.
And I pretty much do all my servicing myself, and they said you should have it serviced 5 years or 500 quilts, and I've had mine 2.5 years, and I've done 550 quilts. So I'm just getting ready to call for a service call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's
But,
amazing.
Gamels are just workhorses, and they're just mechanics. And if you can fix mechanics, you can
do
fix that. It's not hard at all.
Let me ask, do you have a favorite quilt in the show? One that you just really had a good time quilting?
Yes.
Okay.
And it happens to be mine.
Oh, good, because I don't know how you would choose, excuse me. I don't know how you would choose anybody else's. I was concerned about even asking that. It's all right. We can walk the show again.
Where is it?
Oh, the gnome. I loved this quilt.
So this was a block of the month by Fig Tree and Company, as is the Retro Farmhouse.
I like the retro
Made
farmhouse,
me
too.
a good piecer because she uses these little bitty pieces. And I've had this made for 5 years. And I didn't know how I was going to quilt it. I didn't think I was good enough to quilt it. This happens to be all free motion. So all I knew is that I wanted to put these feathers around the border.
Okay.
I didn't know what else I was going to do. So I started in this corner. And these are called clamshells.
Okay.
And it's just a little circle and then a circle. And I did that and I went, oh my God, I don't want to do the whole quilt that way. That's a pain in the neck.
Okay.
And so then I thought, well, what about these? That looks good on the sashing. Let's do those.
Okay.
And then I really wanted the blocks to pop. So this is all free motion, free lines.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, let's make triangles in the triangles. And I just kind of, as I went on, just said, oh, well, this would look like this was serendipitous. And I loved how it just turned out making that circle there. And then I got down to Mr. Al and I thought, oh, well, he needs feathers, right? So let's put feathers there and let's give him googly eyes.
Aww. Oh,
And then
googly
I
eyes.
went on YouTube and said, how do you do animal fur, right? And so Mr. Hedgehog, I kind of tried to figure out to make him look like, the hair sticking up. I went on and I looked at what a hedgehog really looks like, right? And I tried to make it look like that.
Awesome.
And then I got Mr. Gnome all the way done, and it was laying on my cutting table, and I go, honey, does that look really awful? And he goes, yeah, it needs a face. So I embroidered his little face on. So personally, this is my favorite because it's the first one I've done all by myself, nobody telling me what to do, keeping the density the same.
Okay.
And just doing the overall thing.
Well,
so,
this is a cutie patootie.
Yeah.
I really like it.
and you're right. It is. I was watching your YouTube video.
Oh, you were hanging with me.
I was hanging with you. And this was made to be a Christmas quilt.
Oh, nice.
And so I had done the whole backing with this red fabric.
Oh,
And then when I went to quilt it, I thought, I don't want all that gray
Okay.
on there. So I used the same, this is called,
linen. What is that? The
it's
Essex
crossweave.
Oh,
It's crossweave.
Oh my.
It's crossweave.
Okay.
So, and it shreds like crazy. It's a pain in the neck to work with.
Okay.
So it's black threads and white threads. And I just happened to have some that I bought for another quilt, and the colors didn't match. And so I decided to separate out the back and do it that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I'm one person, when I make a quilt, I don't want any fabric left over.
Same.
So use it in the back, right?
Nice.
Use it in the
Nice.
back. So,
Wow.
and then the other one I'm really proud of,
Yeah.
because there's two.
Let's go. This is a good time. We have gotten lucky today, guys.
So this is my friend Joan Harris's.
Okay.
And she brought this to me to be quilted, and it's the first time I had quilted for her, and I just fell in love with the quilt. And she couldn't afford custom quilting.
Okay.
And she's just a dear, wonderful lady. And so I just thought to myself, no, it's a fabulous quilt. It deserved custom quilting, and I did it as a gift for her.
Okay.
Just because she deserved it. I mean, it's just amazing. And it was one where I knew immediately what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something different here, and I knew I wanted a circle here with the lines radiating out with the circles in the middle.
Okay.
And it was one of the first custom quilts that I did that I felt like I did a really super good job. Really super good job. I love the quilting on this, how I was able to get the points to come down here and the points to come in there and, make sure because it's hard. It's hard to get. It seems easy. Oh, you're using a computer, right? You just slap it in there. No. You don't just slap it in there. So, usually when I'm doing edge to edge, I can pick out something in the fabric that I like, and that's why, like this quilt over here. Shut up, Alicia. This is my good friend. So this is my friend, Kathy Hatchell's, and it's called Toes in the Sand.
Oh, I love that beachy feel of the quilting in that one.
Picked a beachy feel.
Yep. And I like that a lot of the people here allow you to, like the cowboy one in the back with the cowboy boots and things.
Yeah.
Some people are a little too stuffy to let you do, get loose and whatnot. So I love that you do that. Do you have a favorite panto?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I couldn't stop it. I really do like to pick the panto that goes with the quilt. I have a couple of people I quilt for that they know immediately what they want.
Okay.
This is Dolores Matneys,
Okay.
and she works at Old Town Quilt Shop in Orchid.
Okay.
And she texted me and she says, Beth, I found this pattern. Can you buy it for me? And I said, of course I can.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the corresponding pattern, which was a diamond, and I texted the designer and I said, I've got a carpenter star. Can that diamond work? And she goes, well, is it a diamond or a parallelogram? And I'm like, I don't know. It's 2 half-square triangles.
This is a parallelogram.
Right. Well, I can't
That's
do
okay.
math.
That's okay. That's all right.
And so I said, she says, I could design it for you. And I said, oh, that'd be great. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and she didn't do it. And I finally texted her and she goes, I didn't realize how hard it was to make a parallelogram even. So I finally got the design and I put it in here, and I couldn't make it fit here.
Oh, when you flipped it, it went.
Well, you had to flip it, and I didn't know how to flip it.
Oh, okay.
So it's called mirror on my thing. And then I finally mirrored it, and I was able to go around and do it. So she's one, she always knows what she wants.
Do you prefer always knows, or do you want to do yourself?
Sometimes it's really hard for me if someone says, do whatever you want, Beth, because I am that type A perfectionist, and oh my God, if I do it and they don't like it, I will rip it out and do it again. I have ripped out a queen size quilt and done it again. I'm that much of a perfectionist.
Okay.
So If I know them really well, I feel comfortable.
Okay.
If they're a new client, I have learned, because I had a new client say, do whatever you want, and then she got it and she didn't like it. And then she came back the next time and said, do whatever you want. And I was, no, no, no.
I like that she came back though. She came
Yes,
back though.
She did come
Okay,
back.
okay.
And I made her
No, sit down.
there
Yeah,
and go
yep,
over
let
them
tell me
with
what you like, what you
Yeah,
don't like.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Now, how long had you had your gamble, or is that the first machine that you bought?
No, the first machine I had was a baby lock jewel that I bought on eBay.
Okay. How long had you had it before you started quilting for other people?
Let's see. I had my baby lock for, I think, 2 years. And I also play bridge, which is a passion of mine. And I brought a quilt to my bridge partner for her birthday. And one of the ladies that plays bridge is a quilter. And she goes, oh my God, you quilt? And that's what started it all.
Wow. And how long ago was that, you'd say?
That was 2012.
Wow. So you've been doing this about 11 years?
Yeah, which is, talking to people, it's not really all that. It's really, since I got my gamel, there's just such a quality difference between the baby lock, which, don't get me wrong, and the gamel, and the all steel frame, and you can roll the backings on and not have to worry. It really does elevate your quilting. It really does.
A gamel should, though,
Yeah.
because a gamel is the big daddy. Between the
the big
gamel and the Nova, I shouldn't have any issues with those two.
Yeah,
But it's good to hear that you can feel the difference between having a baby lock and having a gamel.
Oh my gosh. Because I was watching the videos while I was waiting for my machine, and they're just like rolling the handle and the backing's going on. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I had to go here and smooth out and go there and smooth out, and there's no going. It's just, it's a 2-inch steel pipe.
Wow.
But I'm one of the unusual ones that bought my gamel sight unseen with no training at all. And my neighbor's like, who's a quilter, she goes, Beth, you're nuts. And I go, it's what I want. I've dreamed of one.
You got it.
Ever since I learned about it. So,
well, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you
Well,
for
thank
talking
you
to
for
us. This
coming.
was just,
I appreciate
this was a
it.
treat. This was an
Thank you.
absolute
Thank
treat.
you.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody on my channel, but just seeing your name just pop up over and over, and some of the beautiful designs.
Thank you.
I'm just glad that you wanted to talk
you.
to us.
No, this is my passion. It's become more so than piecing, frankly. Because,
what? Oh, I'm a piecer.
Well, I am too, and I used to make a quilt a month. But since I've been long arming, I'm lucky if I make 3 quilts a year.
My quilter told me, my long arm quilter told me that. She says, when you start quilting, you will probably not piece as much, because I'm piecing about a quilt a week.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, but I have the channel, and so I'm cranking them out. I'm cranking them
now
out.
I've got your channel and I can watch you. I'm
But
so excited.
But I'm not finishing anything. I'm collecting because I'm getting ready to. Well, I'm going to purchase a long arm.
Oh, good
And
for
so
you.
I've just going crazy with it. So it was lovely talking to you.
Oh,
thank you, thank
Well,
you,
if
thank
you
you.
My sister, if I can't find my daughter, she's in the garage with the long
Quilt,
arm.
she's at the long arm. She's at the long arm. I
hope
love
you
that.
can get a gamma.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I can swing
Well,
that
you know
gamma.
what? I wouldn't have been able to afford it, but God bless my mother, who was a huge steward of her money, and I inherited.
Oh, nice.
And
Well, that's
my
nice.
long arm is named Louise after my mother.
Oh, that's so sweet.
because
I name
she's-
my machines too.
Yeah.
I name all of my machines.
Well, I usually don't, but if
That
it
one was
wasn't
special.
for her, it is special.
I know that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, thank you,
Well,
thank you, thank
for
you.
coming.
Oh,
This was wonderful, and I've got your channel
Oh,
marked
perfect.
and subscribed.
Oh, I'm
so
glad.
I get to watch you.
glad to have
Thank
you. Okay. Bye-bye. All right, guys. I am going to skedaddle. Oh, we've been live 2 hours. I just thought I was going to be in here for 5 whole minutes, and I just have had the time of my life. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk to her just a little bit. That's my first time interviewing anybody. And I had a good time. All right, so stay tuned. Keep an eye out for this channel. If you're not doing so already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and hit your notifications, because I'll probably go live at Roxanne's, so you guys can see what they have going on there. And then probably it's super buzzy too. So let's just make a day of it. I always do.